You're listening to a Count Out Podcast.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Your Dose of Death podcast. As always, I'm Loren. Just me today. As you see, though, I have a really great guest, a man who is making the rounds in the world of deathmatch wrestling, literally a meteoric rise unlike any other we've seen in this scene for a while. A man that absolutely honored to call a friend at this time. Man who literally holding belts around the country, doing crazy shit. With garbage cans, of course. I am talking to none other than the murder surgeon himself, Doctor Redacted. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's a nice Saturday evening at this time of recording. Just enjoying life.
Saturday midday over here.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're just chilling in Vegas, whatever. It's always nice there. We're finally getting warm weather again here.
Yeah, I was like, oh, a cold front hit. It's 67 today.
Oh, shut up. That's nothing. It's not. It's like 68 here. But anyways, congrats on all your success. It's been crazy to watch you go from just debuting at shows to now like being really a mainstay around the country. And I mean, you've done it all really in like the last year.
It just happened. I was like, oh, okay, sure.
So my question is, I mean, for those of you that don't necessarily know the Doctor Redacted lore, he was a previous character. We won't get into that because of legal reasons. But going from kind of this gimmicky character to now this full-fledged, like, yeah, you're the Doc, you're redacted, of course. You do this crazy stuff now. How's that transition been for you from doing just kind of like just gimmick heavy shows to now you're doing stuff that is a complete 180 from what you were originally doing in wrestling? How has that transition been for you?
Going from haha to nightmares it's been excellent, honestly. It's been not, I don't want to say a breath of fresh air, but I just like it so much more. I like having my own creative freedom. I like being able to do whatever I want to do, make the character look any way I want. It's just been better. And I'm not shitting on anybody else or anything when I say that, but I just like what I'm doing now, and just everything has been so much better.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. Because I mean, I remember those haha shows back in the day. I remember seeing advertisements for them, and I was like, oh yeah, this character just shows up. He's the nefarious one and all that, of course. But seeing you change to just, oh yeah, you've taken that mask off now, you've taken that identity off, and now you're just is the crazy thing that always stands out to me is your intensity in ring. Why the intensity? I think that's definitely a question many people are curious to hear about. What made you want to go the intense route? Because I mean, you go 110% in your matches.
Well, the whole idea of your character is that you're always supposed to amplify yourself times 1,000. And you know, we all have that crazy person inside of us, and I get to just be that crazy person then. And just it's who I am. I'm sorry.
No, I think it's really cool because I mean, again, like me and you've talked off air and just have talked at shows. Mm-hmm. Like, as I said, like you're just this complete nerd, this complete dork. And then when the ring hits, when the belt, and you're literally shoving people. You're like Nick Gaging it ×2. What the entrance is.
Switch flips, you know?
It's that the light switch just hits, and it's just like it's a complete 180. It's crazy just to watch you grow. And I mean, mind you, like you went from that guy does stuff with the garbage can to running around the ring, doing light tube stuff, doing all this crazy stuff. Let's flash back a bit from your first death match, like your very first death match. To now, what do you feel has been the biggest change in what you've been able to do?
I just feel more comfortable. I don't want to say I feel like indestructible or anything like that, because everyone's always like, "Oh, he's doing the crazy shit," but uh, now I just feel like I have like my footing and like what's a good word for this? I feel at home, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Weird, I don't know. But yeah, I feel comfortable now. And like then it was like we're putting our feet in the water and we're like, ooh, okay, okay. But now I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's go crazy. Let's like, and now it just gels.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the really cool part about it is, as you said before, like you're able to like really have the creative control. You're really able to like give and take what you want in matches. I gotta ask, because I mean, it's been the thing that's put you on the map. Where did the whole garbage can idea come from?
So I like the Great Sasuke a lot, and
Okay.
he does the barrel,
Yeah.
and I'm not some Japanese legend, so I'm not gonna have promoters or whoever getting me giant wooden barrels. Please don't anyone get me a wooden barrel. I don't want it. I don't want it. And a trash can is a lot easier to come by, and nobody does anything with the trash can. And some people are very sensitive about certain weapons and all that stuff. So then I was like, trash can. Nobody does that, and you don't really see it too often anyway. So I was like, let's go fucking with the trash can.
Okay. Yeah, I vividly remember the great Sasuke doing a couple matches with that barrel. That I mean, those barrels are expensive too, so you're
Yeah,
not trying
and
to
they're
break the budget.
gigantic. They are literally gigantic.
And I think it was the most recent time he did it. It was with a bear ring too, and I was like, "Are you
Off
serious?"
the ladder, and it just
Yeah,
looks
it was like a
insane. And
20
you're like,
foot ladder. It was a 20-foot ladder too. I'm like, there is no way in hell anyone's gonna do this in the States, but hey, whatever works, right?
yeah.
So I'm trying to remember, when did you exactly debut the Doctor Redacted character? I was trying to remember. It was last
So
year, right?
last year, WrestleMania time, but not at WrestleMania.
It wasn't at
It
WrestleMania. It was, I think, it was a
It
little
was
after
like this
that.
like unfilmed show in Brooklyn, and then after
Okay.
that, I did it at Blitzkrieg Pro at
Okay,
some
Blitzkrieg.
like weed festival, which was hilarious. Also unfilmed, but I got to see Method Man, Redman, and Waka Flocka live, so that was pretty fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, and then ever since then, it's just been.
Yeah, it's been a crazy rise. I mean, literally in a year. And did you ever envision doing deathmatch before you decide on the Doctor Redacted character? Did you ever envision it?
Um, Sort of, kind of. Like I would see some of the stuff and I'd be like, oh my God, these guys are nuts. But then growing up, I was the ECW kid because at the time, I lived in Long Island. So you see all that shit. I'd see it all. Um, and then like I would start like in the haha place, I would start doing like balcony dives or I would start doing like crazy stuff. And then I was like, okay, maybe I could do this. And then uh, I always liked a lot of like the hardcore, ultra violent stuff. And then I had a thing pitched to me and then I did it and I was like, okay, this is it. I like this. Let's keep going. So we're just off
Okay.
and going. Oh, and going back to what you said before with the whole entrance thing, you got to be with me one day when I'm in the car driving. The road rage is like the same as the entrance. It's just intense.
No.
So mad at people. Some lady literally yelled at me the other day. She's like, "Can't you just be nicer?" And I was like, "Oh, you need to learn how to drive."
Oh man, you hear it first from this man. It's always an adventure with you, it seems like, if that's the case. I think the craziest thing though is, I mean, you started off your debut with ICW No Holds Barred. Let's get into
Mhm.
that. It was I believe it was the Battle of the Tough Guys tournament was
Akira.
your debut, and Akira, yeah. Um, how did you feel about that Boston crowd? Because I mean, it was your first show with them, but you started to kind of gain traction. You started kind of rise up the ranks, but then it was like, oh, ICW No Holds Barred. This promotion's getting attention. And you're going up against really one of their main guys in Akira, the very first match of the show.
And it's like a last minute thing too. I had like 2 days
Yeah,
notice.
it was a last minute thing too. I remember that. How did it feel to like get that debut under your belt, and now you become like a mainstay for ICW No Holds Barred later on?
um, It was great. It was definitely nerve-wracking at the time. I definitely went to a wedding immediately after. Yeah, with gusset plate marks in my head and everything.
Oh Lord.
Um, thankfully, it was for a fellow wrestling friend,
Oh, so they're like
slash promoter.
understandable.
So he's like, idiot, but like he got it. It was terrifying. It was fun because Boston was a big crowd for the haha place. So there was a lot of people in the crowd that were calling me Cube and Box Guy and the whole nine. And I was like, okay, they get it. And I definitely underestimated them, but it was a good one. It was fun.
Okay. I mean, yeah, now it's like you're a regular there. I mean, you've been in there with some of the best that No Holds Barred has put, including international talent like your match. We'll talk about the Face of Death weekend here. I know it's a little delayed for everyone, but we
Yeah.
gotta talk about Face of the Death. You and Darko had a hell of a match.
Dude, I love that match. That match is sick.
I remember you tweeting out about how your girlfriend was the one who thought it'd be the greatest idea to put tubes on the trash can. Can you at least give us a little insight into why the tubes in the trash can?
Well, because she's always like, the trash can thing is great, but we gotta make it crazier. And I'm like, girl, what do you mean crazier? And then she's like, what if we wrap tubes around it? And I was like, you're beautiful and smart. And yeah, right. So then we called it, we pitched it. Unfortunately, our friend Andy, Bocce Boys, decided
Bocce
to put
boy
tubes
Andy.
all the way around it.
Yeah,
But
it was only like 4 tubes in the front, which I thought was hilarious.
But the tube can will be making an appearance soon. I believe you will be seeing it live. And it will be all the way around this time.
Good.
And it will be crazier.
Shout out to Kenzie, by the way, your wonderful girlfriend as well. Also, the one who literally helped you set up your little setup today. So thank you, Kenzie. And also, yeah, shout out to her for that crazy idea because I guess it sticks. It sticks. It sticks.
And I'll tell you, the crowd loved it. So
yeah, crowd popped. I mean, it was at the Hart Ballroom. It was as one of their best venues. The other match you had,
I love that crowd.
Yeah, Hart Ballroom. Shout out to the Hart Ballroom. They do a great job. The other match, though, that was one of the real show stealers, and I'm very happy we're getting the rematch in Chicago. But you and Matt Tremont hit it out of the park that Sunday.
Bloodbath, legit bloodbath. I had so many people go, I had your blood splatter on me. And I was like, oh, sorry.
Also, though, I will say if you never saw the promo that you did before that match, I was cackling. You're like, hello, darkness. And I'm like, oh my God, he didn't just do that. I was like shaking my head. I'm like, this man's promo work. Holy crap. It was great. It was just hilarious. You're just like coming for you and the kids, Matt.
I will say there was another even better promo just recently put out, but it won't make air because a certain match isn't happening anymore that weekend. Yeah. Well, it's whatever.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah. Jordan Castle was in it. It was sick.
Oh my God, Jordan Castle. Yes, that's right. Shout out Jordan. So you recently moved to Las Vegas a few months ago. So how has it been out there, the transition from the New York, the busy life to now kind of Vegas, which is, I'm assuming, a bit more laid back in a sense?
So New York, I didn't live in the city or anything. I lived in Long Island, which is
okay.
So it's a lot slower. Everybody's super sheltered, that kind of crap. But Vegas has been awesome. The weather is significantly better, of course. And I'm just not in this place that I was in forever. And I don't know. Long Island is a nice visit, but it sucks. Vegas fucking rules. The only thing that sucks about Vegas is that they are still, I don't want to say behind on Deathmatch, but it's definitely something that people they see it at in a normal wrestling show and they're like, oh my God. And they're terrified. Which is also funny because there's a small clique of people that are thirsty for it. They want it. But there's a lot of the crowds out here are like, that's a lot of blood.
And there's not many. I'm assuming there's not like really that many like regular promotions that are even doing death matches to begin with.
None.
None.
That I'll get booked out here locally every once in a while as like the attraction.
Okay.
So, which is a bummer because it's like I would love to wrestle more in my place I live, but they're like scared to. Also, I don't need to just do deathmatch, but
Yeah, I was gonna say like
yeah, I can hold my own.
I was gonna say one of the biggest things I preach to just wrestling fans that love to rag on deathmatch. I'm like, these guys can wrestle too. Like it's the biggest. It's like the biggest underestimation of deathmatch wrestlers is like they think that deathmatch wrestlers can't wrestle. I'm like, it's deathmatch wrestling is in the name. Like they can wrestle.
But whatever, it'll catch on eventually.
They'll catch on eventually, exactly. I mean, I will say I did see clips here and there. Shout out to our good friends at Marks R Us. I saw that no ring that you and Cass did. What was it, like someone's backyard?
Dude, it was moved from a venue to this like emptied pool to someone's backyard.
So,
And all right, so let's tell the story about this real quick. So there's a bunch of bands playing. Me and Cass are one of like the 3 oldest people at the place, which is Squat, Satan, and myself. I think the guy from Cancer Christ is older. If not, he definitely looks older than everyone.
okay.
I don't know him. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just saying. So me and Cass start having this match. There's ring introductions. No music gets played, but there's ring introductions. Like it's clearly like, this, and it's on the flyer too. So we start fighting, and at one point, I used a basketball hoop to drop kick him, and then at one point, I jumped off the fence in the garbage can, and some woman pulls it off my head and starts yelling at him. Dude, let's remember, I just fucking bashed my head into the garbage can. So I'm pretty like, oh, and this woman is like, you guys need to stop disrespecting this house. And I'm just like, kind of like half in it, like, what the fuck is this person talking about? And then Cass starts beating me up and pummeling the shit out of me. And this woman is still like yelling at both of us.
Wait, what?
And then I start beating him up. And then I do the running cannonball gimmick.
Yeah.
And then I set him up on a door. And now I'm climbing the house. And I jumped off the house and like elbow dropped him through a door. And people called the police thinking it was like
Excuse me?
an unplanned fight. And that we were just 2 guys fighting. And then eventually, because it's a casket match, we're making which that's another thing. There was a casket in the backyard that was like,
oh my Lord,
the whole backyard. So we're getting this thing, and we're about to start bashing tubes over each other's heads. And this other woman steps in, and she's like, "This is bullshit. You guys need to stop this fighting crap." And I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking hit this guy with these tubes, whether she wants to stand here or not. And then we start going back and forth, and then eventually he took out this like tube crucifix.
Okay.
Blasted me over the head, and unfortunately Casanova gets the win, but it was
that's wild,
ridiculous. So like there was numerous, and dude, there was 9 cop cars there for this.
What, 9?
9.
Why was there 9? Was it just because they just didn't know?
They were told that there was a fight, and they decided they needed 9 cop cars to break up this fight.
So, like, I mean, so it was at this person. Was there anyone actually home in the house?
The woman yelling at us at one point was like, "This is my brother's house." And I was just like,
wait, what?
Okay, sure.
So they planned this at her brother's house. Like, I guess like it was in relation to the promoter or whoever was running it. Wow.
I don't know, but I just know they knew it was going to happen, and then it happened, and they got real scared.
Oh, that's insane. That is absolutely insane.
It was wild.
Wow, you guys heard it.
Very strange thing. Yeah, I don't know.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane. I'm just trying to like wrap my head around. It's like, oh yeah, like 3 different venue changes, then this, then just random people yelling, thinking it's like this entire legit fight. Yeah. Wow, that's stuff you never hear about. That is stuff you never hear about.
It was an experience.
So
Casanova.
Yeah, Casanova, of course. Of course, you also are the Wrestle Rave Deathmatch champion still. and you just recently won Death Triad, a pretty good roster. I mean, of course, some former guests I've had on the show like Remington Roar, but also, I mean, you were in there with the legends like Madman Pondo as well. And of course, that final with Hoodfoot and Dmitry Alexandrov, which, by the way, both are excellent wrestlers in their own right. How was that tournament for you?
It was great. You should watch it on IWTV now if you haven't. Someone is signaling to me right now.
Hi, Kenzie.
She says hi again.
Hi.
She says hi. She's being a menace right now in a really great way, but she's being a menace. Yeah, Madman Pondo, Hoodfoot, Dmitry Alexandrov. There was a lot of good people in that tournament.
Statsu was in as well.
Sam Stackhouse.
Yeah, Sam Stackhouse.
Oren had to drop. Something happened with his flight.
Okay.
We got Matt Locke.
Yeah.
And then I feel like a jerk, but I'll blame my head chair shots. I can't remember who else. But it's good. It's a lot of fun. 2 triple threat elimination matches.
Yeah.
Really cool idea.
Yeah, you don't I mean, you see the triple threat idea tossed around, but it's just a single fall. I do kind of like it as elimination. It kind of evens things out a little bit. It was definitely kind of like off for me because I'm used to like, one fall to the finish for triple threats. It's just get it in and out. And I'm like, they kind of did the elimination style. So then,
and I did not know it was elimination until I got there, and I was like, so now everyone's gonna be gunning after me.
Oh man, but I mean, it's. Did you ever expect to become a champion in a promotion within a year of doing death matches?
No, not at all. Did not expect it. Very out of left field, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, sure." Because a lot of places I go to, I'm the attraction or the crazy wild guy.
Yeah.
But then to put the belt on me, all right, we like that. So hopefully it happens more places. If it doesn't, oh well.
Oh well, yeah, that's a good mindset. And of course, I mean, you worked everywhere and anywhere potentially. What are some goals for you to the rest of this year that you're looking at?
Always Japan. Japan would be sick. Just debuting in new places. Maybe getting a shot at that American Deathmatch champion. Hoodfoot, we like him, but I would also like having that belt a lot more. Yeah, just stuff like that. Just getting out to going to England would be cool, even though I know that's risky right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little risky. But shout out to want to just get this plug in real quick.
Sure.
Our good friend Jordan Explosion Apparel is getting out the Support UK Deathmatch shirts real soon. So
awesome.
Be on the lookout for those. I believe he needed 4 more to start printing production. So if you're hearing this, hopefully by the time this comes out, the 4 will already be purchased, but I've already bought one. So supporting our UK Deathmatch friends as best as we can.
It's pretty fucking whack. You're someone who goes to a lot of deathmatch shows, and then something like that happens, and you're gonna try to sue. Kind of sounds like a scheme or a money grab to me.
Yeah, we've been told to not necessarily talk about, but hey, it happens. I've been to shows and I've gotten cut, and I'm not out here being like, I want something in return. But again, it happens to literally anybody. If anyone's listening to this and is curious about experiences with fans at deathmatch shows, please talk to me. I will be more than happy to give you my 411 or anybody for that matter, because I've been cut. I have had stingers to the knee and still have stayed at the show. There are other fans who literally had their leg cut open and went to the ER, then came back to the show. I kid you not. So
there was some person in Texas too who awkwardly got their stomach cut. I was like, how did this even happen?
Oh,
not bad, but I was like, how does this even happen?
Wow.
Yeah, right.
They were wearing a shirt.
I don't know. Kenzie did patch them up, so shout out to Kenzie again.
Shout out to Kenzie.
New medic on the block, but
she's doing everything. She's doing everything. She is the agent.
She's secretly just like a fucking go-go gadget of deathmatch wrestling.
Go gadget.
Yeah, right. I don't know where I got Inspector Gadget from, but just fucking.
I love it. I absolutely love it. That's the best one. But it has been an absolute pleasure having you on as well. It's really been fun getting to know you, aside from, of course, being the mad doctor that you are on. But as you guys hear, he's just like you and me, just some crazy dork who literally runs around, gets himself into crazy shit. So it just happens to the best of us, right?
And then that bell rings, and I just go wacko.
Yeah. Also, shout out to someone who literally has been a very good friend to both of us. The struggles, literally, I consider him a mentor to me. One of my favorite moments with you has been, in fact, at Restival when you decided to crash the commentary table. You and Casmo
struggles plays it off like he hates it, but he wants me as his commentary partner more than anything. And I think and that's why that's the one thing I hate about the Heart is that he hides upstairs away from me. And I'm like,
you can't go upstairs and be like, hey, knock, knock. I want to do commentary with you.
Yeah. And the time with Hoodfoot, he's only mad because I brought personal things into it. Because I was like, yo, get me reservations at this restaurant in Vegas. He's like, I can't get you reservations. And I was like, come on, man.
Oh, man. I gotta ask, what has been your favorite moment in wrestling so far? Whether it's been in the past life or the current life, what has been your favorite moment in wrestling so far?
I will say, and I don't know if this is like a cornball, goofy answer, but it's not to me. That time, it was me and Oren, and it was I came in to the Heart, my first time there.
Yeah.
And the reaction those fans gave me was like the coolest thing ever. And it definitely was like, oh, you guys accept me. This is cool. Because, there's people on the internet that love to just type and say wild shit.
Yeah, of course.
They'll never say it to my face, but they love to talk on the internet. And it was sick how they just like accepted me, but like didn't just like I got that Road Warrior pop that night, brother.
Yeah, that was a lot. I remember that with you and Oren. That was a loud pop. Yeah, that was.
And I will never forget that.
I don't think that's a corny answer at all. I think it's a great answer. Especially, it's definitely a different answer than what others say. I'll give you that for sure. Again, thank you guys for listening to this interview with Doctor Redacted. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you the last few months. And I want to give one more shout out to someone who literally was the reason me and you got to start talking, was our good friend Jake Martin, who was the one who suggested that I interview you. Jake has been a long time listener of this very podcast, and he was like, I think you and Dr. Redacted could do stuff. So because of that, we're like literally friends now. So it's like literally the best thing. Literally the best thing that could ever happen. So thank you, Jake, for literally being the one that suggested this. And also, though, I'll not only be seeing you in Chicago, but I'll also be seeing you at the Insane 8 tournament in Wisconsin. How did it feel being a first-time entrant in that tournament? I mean, it's a prestigious tournament, one of the most prestigious in the Midwest.
Yeah. When he hit me up about it, I was like, yep, let's go. And it's like, I know I just did the Wrestler Rave one, but that was the first tournament I've ever been asked to do, was the Insane 8. So I was like, oh, yeah. I would very much want to do this. And I plan on murdering every single person that gets in my way. Every single.
Well, I'm very excited for you to be an Insane, and I think a lot of people are as well.
Also never been to Wisconsin, so that's cool too.
Oh, yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'll be like your quintessential tour guide around Wisconsin. I was going to say, Loren and Doctor Redacted take over Chicago. Good Lord. That's not going to end well.
At Culver's.
Yes, I'm telling you all, you don't get the cheese curds at Culver's unless it's in Wisconsin because it's fresh there. So
gotcha.
I'm telling you. So, but anyways, I think that's a good place to top this one. Until next time, guys, thank you for listening to this awesome interview with Dr. Redacted. I hope you guys took a little something out of this one. From myself, from the doc, from everyone listening. Thank you guys, and good night.